tell by the molten that appears on the snow beneath you. You roll back towards it and you do it again. He's going to sometimes slam down his shield. You roll just into it, wait for it to come down, or either through it or just before he pounds it down, and keep targeting that foot.
I just
Hello peeps, what is going on? It's C.O.Z here, and we're back with another Elden Ring boss fight video. Today we're here with the Fire Giant. The Fire Giant is the beginning of the end game of Elden Ring. Essentially, this is the point where all of the boss fights that I practiced or learned, they required a full, they required everything. So as soon as you enter the arena, he's going to do this crazy AoE with his shield. You want to rush, roll through it, and then go straight between his legs. Because the key to phase 1 is to take out and hit his foot, the foot with the red band there. And then as soon as you hit it there, you want to keep pounding on it, and you can take a substantial amount of health out just at the start. The real challenge with the Fire Giant isn't so much his moveset, as if he had less of a health bar, he might have even been more doable. However, what turned this fight into maybe a couple hours to a few hours for me, although with the majority of the later game fights, all of them took over a couple of hours to take down, and some of them even more than a few hours as well. So it was crazy. I think Fire Giant took ages because the last phase gets really intense and the damage you do is peas. But as you can see in phase 1, what you want to do is stay between the legs. He's going to spawn fire. You want to roll away. You can tell by the molten that appears on the snow beneath you. You roll back towards it and you do it again. He's going to sometimes slam down his shield. You roll just into it, wait for it to come down, or either through it or just before he pounds it down, and keep targeting that foot. That foot is basically his major weak point, or where you can do the most damage, as this guy is like a crazy golem as well. My bleed damage did help a little bit, but as I keep saying, I've actually gone with mainly a hardcore like dex build, not that much of a bleed build. My intelligence, even now as I do post endgame content when I'm bringing you these, is still crap. So it was literally melee in and out for me. And in his second phase, it's going to change. His foot is no longer his weak point. However, he sits down a lot. You want to capitalize on this, because when he sits down on his knees, you want to get behind him. And I think that's the safest spot to sit, as his AoEs get really intense as well. I kept wailing on his foot, but there is actually a better place to attack. You see his hand? As soon as he slams down, if you can get the opportunity to hit his hand, then please do, as that's his next weak spot. You can normally tell by that little orange band there. So in the first phase, it's the foot. In the second phase, it does change. What else changes up with his mix-up in phase 2 is that he starts shooting these crazy AoE fireballs, which have tracking. Again, the actual key to this fight is not to long it out too much. As soon as he's finished his waves of attacks and you back away, you get right behind him again. The strategy that worked for me, I tried to hit his hand and I tried to attack him from forward, but again, repeating the strategy that I used in phase 1 was for me the best way to take him out. Of course, he hits like a truck as well, and the mountaintop of giants, you expect a giant to hit like a truck too. So make sure that you take health and recover between your dodge as well. Back away and avoid those tracking fireballs too. He's going to do that crazy fire scourge again that you saw in phase 1. I'm still just sitting on the foot. I'm still behind him. He can't get me over here. He doesn't spill anything from the back of his body like some Souls bosses do too. And a long-reaching weapon will help you again. So go for a sword or something, or this weapon, or maybe there's other rivers of blood as well, or a spear. I'm not really too well versed on that. I mainly stick with one weapon even through repeated playthroughs, such as my Bloodborne one where I just stuck to the Soul Cleaver because I really liked it. But that's just me. So yeah, experiment, see what works. You do want a long-reaching weapon though, because you want to be able to sit at least a bit of a distance to roll away. And he keeps rolling away from you as well. It's that bit where he creates distance that you've got to be really, really careful, and where most of his crazy attacks come. Because if those fireballs hit you, they do really crazy flame damage. So again, something that has heavy fire resistance might work as well. I was using the scaled armor. I don't think I paid attention too much to my gear, so going back and looking in hindsight, it's in some of in the later boss fights, and I think in particular with the boss fights that are coming post endgame, so post Radagon, I will be paying more attention to my gear as well. So this is just some tips from a first time Elden Ring player who's completed a lot of the optional bosses and the hardest endgame bosses in the game, and now is going to do the Halligate ones, which are like even harder than the hard bosses. But as you can see there, I cut the risk. I cut my damage. My apologies. I cut my damage for less risk. So you see how I'm positioned near his hand and then he slams down? I'm not going for his hand, even though I could probably finish him off with a slice, because I kept getting killed and I wasn't fast enough. So if you want to do risk analysis cost, then you really need to give him everything you've got on his thighs, on his back, on his foot too. You'll get there eventually because you can roll as he turns. In the first phase, he slams his foot down quite a bit. He can still get you. So just be aware of where that foot is. Rotate with it. As soon as he does his distance, he does his hand slam there. Either hit the hand, although he's going to quickly recover, or go straight for under the thighs and take him out in between. There's a lot like the techniques I used against Radan, who was one of the harder fights, hence took nearly just under a few hours, so not quite as long as Fire Giant did. I would rank him in terms of difficulty, just a little bit difficult, or about the same as Rykard, before I learned that you could level up the Serpent weapon to do crazy damage and buffed it up. And Radan was a little easier, probably because he had a lower health bar.